In this video, I'm going to be testing out new makeup and new to me brands, including Patrick Ta, Makeup by Mario and Vieve. So if you'd like to see how these brands perform on my mature 71-year-old skin, then please keep watching. Oh, and hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Des. I'm a 71-year-old woman who loves to talk all things beauty, fashion and lifestyle for the over 50, over 60 and over 70 women. So without further ado, let's get cracking. Now the first product that we're going to be testing is the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. And this is it here. But before I tell you about that, I just want to let you know that I have been trying this over the last few days, and I've decided that it's actually better for me to use a primer first. Now I've tried a couple of different primers. I've tried the e.l.f. primer, which is very good. And I've also been using the Laura Mercier, which is the one we're going to try today. And it's the Pure Canvas Primer, this one here. So I'm just going to apply it. I'm going to apply it everywhere, really. It's a very nice, cooling, non-sticky primer, which I think works really well on my mature skin. Because I'm finding at the moment, particularly these creases here are getting really bad. In fact, I notice that my SPF settles in there, never mind foundation. But this is what we have to deal with as we get older. We are going to have creases in our skin and we just have to manage them as best we can. And that's why I think a primer with foundation, I wouldn't suggest a primer with a skin tint, because up until very recently I've been wearing skin tints, because in the spring, summer, particularly the late spring and the whole of the summer and into early autumn, I don't wear foundation, I wear skin tints. But I find that just as I want more layers of clothing on as it gets colder, I also want I also want more layers of makeup. Not too many, obviously, because we don't want to be cakey at all. So that's how I'm feeling at the moment. But I do think a primer with foundation, particularly if it's medium coverage, which this one is the best way to go for my skin. So let me tell you about the foundation. So first of all, it comes in a very nice heavy glass bottle. And this is the first Makeup by Mario product I've ever used, because the Ethereal Eyes palette has been all over the show, hasn't it? I think there are various incarnations of it, various iterations. But the shades have never really attracted me. And also I don't want a big palette. I don't use big palettes. I'm happy with a quad or a quint, but I don't want to go with a 9 pan. And so that's why I haven't bothered to purchase any of the Ethereal Eyes palettes. But I did think this foundation looked good. So let me tell you a little bit about it. First of all, it appears to come in 32 shades. It seems to depend on which site you look at, but it certainly comes in a lot of shades. And I'm in the shade 8N, or I took the shade 8N. Now, for those of you who watched my channel before, quite a few of you have been mentioning that I've been using too light a shade for my foundation. So I've made a mental note of that. Well, I've made a physical note of that actually. And I have bought a slightly darker shade than I perhaps would have chosen for myself. So I hope you think it works. I think it does work. And you get 30 mils of product. Now this costs £48 or $48. And I thought it would be fun just to compare the amount of product that you get in this bottle with the Victoria Beckham foundation drops, because I know a lot of you feel quite rightly that £104 or $110 is far too much money to pay for a foundation, and this has exactly the same amount of product as the VB drops do, so that's interesting in itself, I think. But I think because this has a pump, you're going to end up taking more product out of this than you would out of the Victoria Beckham dropper. But that's the only comparison I'm going to make between the two. Now this is vegan and cruelty free, and it has 4.8 stars on the Sephora US website and 4.7 on the UK site. And some of the comments include that it goes the distance after 12 hours. That was a mature skin review. And some say that it did look a little bit oily after a while. So they thought that it might not be suitable for oily skins. But generally very favourable reviews. And by the way, we will do a full day wear test, so I will come back in 8 or 10 hours and let you know how I've got on with it. Now it says that it's a natural weight foundation with weightless medium coverage that smooths and blurs for a skin-like effect while providing all-day shine control and 16-hour wear and up to 16 hours hydration. So the way I found it best to apply is to put it in the palm of my hand, even though they say put it on the back. I've been pumping about this much, a reasonable amount, and then I've been taking my Merit #1 brush, swirling it around and then applying it. So that's what we're going to do. So I think we can see we're already getting a nice shine and a decent amount of coverage. Now I've been varying between using a brush and using my fingers. I do use my fingers with the Victoria Beckham. But I think for a medium coverage foundation, it's easier to use a brush, and then I would either blend it out with a damp beauty sponge, but at the moment I'm trying to keep to the Lisa Eldridge take some off after you've put some on with a clean brush. So that's what we're going to do today. I know I was a bit pooey about it in my last video, but I've gone back to it. So I think there is something in it. So that's what we're going to do today. See, I think that's enough, don't you? And I think we'll do the clean brush technique after we've got the concealer on. So what do we think so far? I didn't use a huge amount. That wasn't exactly a pump, it was more of a swirl, but I think the coverage is good. This is the blemish that I always look at to see whether I've got light coverage or medium coverage, and I would say that this has covered it up quite well. If I was using a skin tint, this doesn't really get much coverage, so if I was really bothered about it, which I'm not, if I were bothered about it, I would use a concealer there. So I think that shows that this is medium coverage, and I don't think it looks too heavy at all. I think it's a nice natural finish, and it does have a glow. I can definitely see a glow here. So I'm going to go off camera now, apply my concealer and do my brows, and then we'll come back for the Patrick Ta eyeshadows and the Vieve mascara. Now I forgot to mention that in the description it does say that the shade deepens a little bit over time, which is interesting, but it doesn't oxidize. So we'll see. I don't know whether I would notice that. I mean, after all, I'm 71, my eyesight is not that brilliant. So I don't know whether I would notice that it would deepen over time, but hopefully you'll be able to tell when I come back later on at the end of the day, and we'll see how it's looking. Now I've applied my concealer and I've used French Face by Maxine's Revenge, details of which are down below in the description box, and I have a discount code for that particular concealer. Oh, and I've done my eyebrows as well. I've used the Laura Mercier pencil, and of course everything I talk about will be listed and linked in the description box below and in the top comment as well. So let me get the clean brush and let's just tidy things up a bit. So I'm actually going to use a Lisa Eldridge brush. I bought this ages ago and I don't really use it much because I find that if I use it for foundation, because it's sort of flat, it tends to leave marks, lines as it were. But I think for tidying up and taking makeup off, I think it's quite good. Now I think we will apply a little bit of powder before we go on to the eyeshadow, and I'm going to use the Hourglass Veil little mini loose powder because I've noticed that I've been really quite shiny on a lot of my videos lately, which I don't really like. And I'm going to use this IT Cosmetics brush and swirl it around in this little mini and then tap it into the palm of my hand to get most of it off, to take away the shine. Yeah, I think that's working, isn't it? By the way, I put concealer on my lid as well as a primer, and just around my T-zone, because back in the day I definitely had oily combo skin, but as I've got older it's become normal, but with a bit of a T-zone issue at times. Right, let's have a look at the Patrick Ta Major Dimensions Eye Illusion eyeshadow. Now these have been all over YouTube, but my lovely new friend Amelia of Amelia's Beauty Chat showed them recently. I think she had maybe a couple of them and they looked so beautiful. I'll link her video down below for you so you can see how they look on her, because she's got a different skin to mine. I think she's a little bit more olivey, and they just look so beautiful. I just wanted to eat them. They look so gorgeous. But honestly, look at this Virgin palette. I haven't touched this palette. It's absolutely brand new, apart from trying to open it. I have not played with it at all. Now these actually come in 9 colour stories. So I have chosen one of the new ones, and this one's called Slow Burn. And it cost £37 or $42. And it says it's a shimmering eyeshadow that illuminates the eyes with superfine sparkles and multi-dimensional pearl pigments. It's vegan and cruelty-free, and it got 4 stars on Sephora's US site. And some of the comments said that it was easy to wipe away, but they said there was a lack of pigment. But I'm hoping we will get pigment out of this. It certainly looked fantastic on Amelia's eyelids. And also Amelia said, just use your fingers, which I prefer really with powder shadows. I'm a bit cat-handed with brushes. So we're going to use our fingers today, but let me first swatch them for you. So let's do the lighter shade first. Oh, look how beautiful that is. Isn't that stunning? Oh my gosh. I don't know what you'd call that shade really. It's a kind of apricot glow. It's definitely giving me apricot vibes. Maybe apricot juice rather than the fruit itself. Does anyone have apricot juice? I don't know. With a bit of champagne sparkle. Oh, maybe it's an apricot cocktail. See, I'm doing an Amelia now. Maybe it's an apricot. Maybe it's kind of a Bellini. So it's champagne with apricot juice. How about that? Absolutely beautiful. And then this is the darker one. Oh wow, look at that. I don't know what drink that is. It's interesting. I think on my skin they look really different from what's in the pan. Let me show you. So there are the swatches and there's the pan. Do they look the same? They don't to me. I must say the darker shade doesn't look that dark on my hand. But anyway, let's see how they look on my lids. So I think what we'll do is we'll put the lighter colour all over the lid and then the darker colour at the corner. So let's see how that works. So first let me take some on my finger. And by the way, there is this little mirror here, which is quite cute. So I think if you wanted to touch up during the day, it would be quite helpful. So let's pop this on. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Oh, look, look. Oh. Tiny weeny little bit of fallout there, just one little speck so far, but honestly, I mean, that is just heavenly, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Right, let's deepen it up a tiny bit. Just take a little bit more. Actually, I suppose I could use this little mirror here. Why didn't I do that? Let's do that. Oh, wow. Yes, it is deepening it, isn't it? Maybe just go slightly up into the crease. That is absolutely stunning. Right, let me take the darker shade and just add a little bit to the outer corner. Okay, so we have got quite a lot of fallout now, but we can live with that. We can live with it. It's fine. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've had such beautiful eyeshadows on my lids since probably the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex. I think they're giving me a little bit of Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex vibes. Absolutely stunning. Actually, do you know what? Why don't I put the darker shade all over this lid so we can compare and contrast, or sort of. I've ruined the comparison slightly now, but let's do that. Actually, yes, now I can see it's quite a sort of dark, well, not dark, but it's a sort of, it's definitely a sort of deeper pink, isn't it? Actually, you know what might be nice is to get the lighter shade into the corner here. I'm making a bit of a pig's ear of this side of it. I'll have to do some clearing up in a minute. Actually, I think I prefer the lighter shade on most of the lid and the darker shade just on the outer corner. Let me see if I can cover up some of this with the lighter shade. It's still a beautiful shade, but I think the lighter one looks better on my eyelids for most of the lid. Yeah, I think that's better, isn't it? Now, let's see if we can blend, because this will be interesting, won't it? Just going to take this old Spectrum brush and let's see if we can blend it. And then we'll tidy up the fallout, because there certainly is a lot of that. It's actually also all over my jumper now. Right, let me get rid of all the fallout. There is a lot of fallout. I think we might have to use a damp beauty sponge. Blimey, I probably should have put my foundation on afterwards, shouldn't I? Well, that's a bloody disaster, isn't it? Well, we're certainly keeping it real today, aren't we? I've had to take off the foundation, the concealer and the powder from here downwards because of all the fallout. I mean, that is shockingly bad. And it wasn't like I was being cack-handed, was it? I don't think, anyway. But I do like the effect of the eyeshadow on my eyelids. I just don't like the fallout. I think it's really bad. Anyway, let's carry on. I have to reapply the foundation. And just to let you know, I've put all my skincare on. Oh, I haven't put the primer on, have I? Let me put the primer on again. That's such a disappointment, isn't it? I mean, it's fine if you're happy to put your foundation on afterwards, which I don't really like doing, but I know some people do, and a lot of makeup artists do it, so I'm sure it's fine. It's just not the way I like to do things. And if we were to compare these to the Lisa Eldridge Liquid Lurex, the thing about those is they're liquid eyeshadows, so they don't really have fallout. Whereas this is powder, but honestly, that's shocking. You would have thought they would have tested it. But honestly, I find that really shocking that the fallout could be that bad. Still, maybe it's just me. If you have got these, do let me know whether you've had the same issue. Okay, we've got the primer on, round 2 of the foundation application of the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin. Actually, do you know what I didn't do last time? I didn't shake it, and it does say you're supposed to shake it first. So let me shake it. Oh yeah, I can hear, a bit like the VB. Then we're going to put one swirl, like so, into my hand. Then we've got our Merit brush, which I'm going to swirl around in the palm of my hand. And we now apply the foundation again. I'll just go up to my temples. So as you can see, I do like to keep it real on my channel. And actually that's good. It's applying just as well this time, I think, as it did first time round. So that's good. And actually, I might as well apply the concealer on camera. You can always fast forward if you don't want to see it, but I think the way I'm applying it at the moment seems to be working quite well, and that's using the same brush, the foundation brush, to apply the concealer too. I'm using the shade Light Beige. There we go. Now, I would normally be swiping this all over my eyelid as well, but I can't do that now because I've got the eyeshadow on. Things don't always go according to plan on this channel, as you may know if you've watched me before. But like I say, we're keeping it real. And that's important, isn't it, in this AI age? And then we'll do the taking off as well, just so that we even things out. And then we will add a little bit of powder as well. Let's use a puff this time. So same technique. Put the puff into the powder and then really tap it off. Get most of it out. Right, as you were. This is the lighter of the two. This one is still a bit darker, but I'm not going to put any more eyeshadow on because I don't want any more fallout. So let's now move on to the Vieve Icon Mascara, and this is the lovely box. And I have tried this once yesterday, so I thought I'd just give it a head start because mascaras do take a while to get going, don't they? It comes in this beautiful container. Look at that, isn't that stunning? And this is £26. I've forgotten the price, the dollar price, but it'll all be down below for you. It's probably around $26, $30, I would say. It feels really, really heavy. Now, it got 4.4 stars on one of the beauty websites, and some people say it's smudged after use, but when I wore it yesterday and I went to sleep for a little while on the sofa, as I often do in the afternoon, there was definitely no smudging. But we will give it the full day wear test like we're going to do with all the makeup that I've got on today. Now, this contains castor oil, which is of interest to some people, I know. And it has what they call a jumbo spiral brush. And it is meant to help your eyelashes stay curled. So let's give it a go. It is beautifully black. Not exactly giving va-va-voom straight off though, is it? It's more fluttery. It's more fluttery than full, I would say, at this stage. But as we know, mascaras do take some time to get going. And maybe I should have given this more time. Of course I will do, and I'll come back and tell you more about it in the future. But at the moment, it's reminding me a little bit of the Kitten Lash by Lisa Eldridge. That was very black and fluttery. I'm a little bit underwhelmed at the moment. Let's do another coat. This eye is looking slightly better than that eye, I think. Actually, not too bad. Not too bad. It's early days, I think, so maybe I'm being a little bit hard on it. So I think if you are looking for a really black mascara, this might be a good one to try, and it's not too expensive. It's £26, so it's not cheap, but it's not in the sort of high-end Chantecaille range. It's not in the 40s, it's in the 20s. So I think that makes it a little bit more affordable than the really high-end ones. Now, before we do lipsticks, let me just add a little blush. And I'm going to use the Westman Atelier Babycheeks in Doudou. I do really like the eyeshadow, but it's so disappointing there was so much fallout. But I don't know, what can you do? Maybe it's a feature of that type of eyeshadow, and I don't really own any other palettes like that, so I haven't really experienced fallout like it, but I do think the colour's beautiful, and actually it's making my eyes look very green. Now, the final new makeup I wanted to show you, well, I'm going to show you, are the Laura Mercier Caviar Hydra-Creme lipsticks. Now, I got all excited about these because Amelia was showing them on her channel. They looked absolutely stunning. I thought, well, I'm definitely having those, so I ordered them. And just this morning, I realised that they had fragrance in them. How did I miss that? Now, those of you who are new to my channel won't know that I'm allergic to fragrance. I get seborrheic dermatitis if I consistently wear products with fragrance. So when I say consistently, if I just wear them on one day, nothing's going to happen. And I think I did do this because I have tried these lipsticks out just the once. But if I wear them consistently, I will get that skin condition. So obviously I don't want to do that. So I am going to show you these lipsticks anyway because they are beautiful, but I'm not going to be wearing them regularly because of the fragrance issue. And interestingly, a few of the reviews on, I think it was Sephora, said the fragrance was overwhelming. But anyway, let me show you the lipstick. I've got two shades. I've got Avenue Montaigne and Saint-Germain, and all the lipsticks are either named after famous places or streets in Paris, or I think New York City. Now, the lipsticks come in a fantastic case, very smart. I don't know if it is magnetic. Oh yes, it is. It is magnetic. And this one's Avenue Montaigne. Let me swatch it for you. That's a stunning colour, isn't it? What would you call that? It's a sort of very dark, dusky pink, I guess. And that's Saint-Germain. They are absolutely beautiful, aren't they? So I will put them on my lips. I will show them to you. But I probably won't do a wear test with them because I don't really want to leave them on my lips for too long. So let's try Saint-Germain first. That is beautiful, isn't it? I mean, yes, there is a fragrance, but it's not overpowering. So if you're not allergic to fragrance, I don't think the fragrance would bother me at all. In fact, it's quite pleasant. It's a little bit rosy. So that is a beautiful shade. And it feels lovely and creamy on the lips. And let's now try Avenue Montaigne, which is darker. I mean, if you know me and my channel, you know I've got loads of lipsticks with these sort of shades, so I probably shouldn't have chosen this shade anyway. And actually, it is a little bit dark for me, isn't it? This is Avenue Montaigne. Right, I'm going to wipe this off, and I'm going to put the Victoria, and I'm going to put the Victoria Beckham Balm on. Right, the Victoria Beckham Balm is going on, which I absolutely love. In fact, I'm going into London tomorrow, and I'm going to go to Selfridges and maybe try out another shade, because this is such a lovely balm, and it is very much my lips, but better, I think. So I do really like it, and it feels gorgeous on the lips. Thank goodness Victoria Beckham doesn't have any products with fragrance in them at all, except of course her actual fragrance, which maybe I should have a whiff of when I'm there. So let's have a little review, but we are going to do an all-day wear test. So I will come back a bit later and show you how all the products have fared. But I think we can safely say that the Patrick Tar eyeshadows are well, not exactly a disaster, because they are beautiful, and we have managed to salvage the situation by reapplying the foundation, but we had to take it off and start again. So if you're interested in these Patrick Tars, and as I say, they are beautiful, the lesson learnt is to put them on first before you put your foundation on, because otherwise you might end up having a bit of a disaster like I did. And I do think the fallout is shocking, but then maybe that's just a feature of those types of glittery eyeshadows. I don't know, because I'm not experienced in using them. But I do think they look absolutely stunning on the lids, there's no doubt about that. And I think the foundation, having had to reapply it this morning, I think it's fared really well. And actually the mascara is looking pretty good. It's only the second day, so I think it will improve. And one of the things I really like about it is the jet blackness of it. It really is very, very dark, which I think helps to give it quite a dramatic look and gives the eyes a dramatic look, because after all, we've gone quite dramatic with the eyeshadow as well. So I think the mascara complements the shadow in that way. So it is about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I will come back at 6 and let you know how the products have fared. Let's hope there's no fallout from the shadows. Let's hope the foundation has lasted, and I'll see you a bit later. Don't go away. So here we are at the 8.5 hour check-in, and let's talk about the good, the bad, and, well, to be honest, not exactly the ugly, but they're not very attractive. So let's start first with the Patrick Tar eyeshadows, and if you remember, this is how beautiful they look in the pan. But what isn't so beautiful about them is the fallout. Now, to focus on the good for a moment, I do think that the shadows look really beautiful on my lids. That's when they're on my lids, that is. I think they make my eyes really look very, very green. And I think that's an attractive look. So I love that. And I love that the lids still look well covered by the shadow. But what isn't good is the fallout. In fact, when I looked at lunchtime, there didn't appear to be any fallout, but there has been some quite considerable fallout since then. I can see it here and here. There's even the odd speck on my moustache. So that's not great, is it? I don't really know what you can do about that. And if you've got any tips, I'd be really interested, because I really love the shadows and I want to continue using them. I wonder whether I might use some kind of primer, possibly not even a dedicated primer, but maybe one of Lisa Eldridge's matte liquid shadows, or any liquid shadow actually, which would then make the Patrick Tar stick to the eyelids rather than falling all over my face and my jumper as it did this morning. So I am really disappointed with that, because it is quite a pricey product. However, I do think that the shades look beautiful on my lids, so I feel a little bit conflicted about the shadows. So I can't say rush out and buy them, but neither can I say don't bother with them. I think there must be a trick to them. And I think that's the case with quite a few makeup products these days, that sometimes we have to play about with them and do different things with them, as it were, rather than just applying them. So that can be tricky and that can be frustrating, because actually when you buy a makeup product, you just want to put it on and forget about it. You don't want to have to fiddle around with it to make it look good. It should look good straight away. So I think the verdict with these shadows is they look beautiful, but there's severe fallout, and it's just a question of working out how to prevent that. Now, actually sticking with the eyes, let's talk about the mascara. Now, I went to sleep earlier on. I had my afternoon nap of about half an hour, which I'm having on a fairly regular basis now. And look, no fallout from the mascara at all. It's completely dry, no flaking, no nothing. And I think for day 2, given that I've only used it for the second time today, it's pretty good. They are a little bit spindly, so I'm hoping that things are going to thicken up a bit. But I do like the fact that my lashes look black, and I think the effect overall is very good. I think obviously if you looked close up, you'd see that they look a bit spindly, but from a distance, I don't think you go, "Ooh, what's wrong with their lashes? They look terribly spindly even." So they're fine, but they're not super duper fab at the moment. But let us now talk about the foundation, and I think this bears close inspection. So I am very impressed with it. Yes, it's worn off a little bit, and you can see my blemish here a bit more clearly than you could this morning. But the way it's worn off is even. I don't think there's any patches that look different from other areas of my face. I think it's worn off all of a piece, so to speak. And I'm really impressed with it. And the blusher has stayed on as well. I think that's what's good, is the blusher hasn't sunk into the foundation and the foundation hasn't kind of grabbed the blusher. I think that all looks really good. There isn't even any major settling in here. Look, you know, I was saying earlier, I think I was saying earlier on this morning, that even my SPF is settling into these lines here quite heavily. And look, there's no settling at all there. There's a tiny bit of settling here, but nothing to write home about. So I am really impressed with this foundation. Now, I've been trying it for 3 or 4 days, and when I first tried it, I've put far too much on. It looked too heavy. The last 3 days, I've been a lot more judicious in my application and been careful not to put too many squiggles of foundation into my palm. And I do think applying it with a Merit brush worked really well, but also using the Lisa Eldridge removing a little bit technique worked too. So I'm definitely going to be continuing with that when I'm wearing foundation. So I think it's difficult to make a comparison with, for example, the Victoria Beckham foundation drops, because with that you do not need a primer. You can literally just apply a couple of dots to your fingers and apply it that way. So it's a completely different application process. But let me know, if you've watched my Victoria Beckham video, how do you think this compares to that? I know it's a bit difficult to tell because I've got all this glittery fallout, but I think it's quite a good, not a dupe, because it's not a dupe at all, but I think the effect is pretty good and comparable, let's say, to the Victoria Beckham drops. So I'm really pleased with it, and I may have to try more Makeup by Mario products. So really delighted with the foundation. Now, I have reapplied the Victoria Beckham Posh Balm in Cassis to my lips, and the Laura Mercier lipsticks, which sadly I can't actually use, I'm going to have to declutter. So very sad about that, but I can't risk getting seborrheic dermatitis. My skin is behaving so well at the moment that I really don't want to risk using those lipsticks just because they're expensive and I bought them. So sadly, they'll have to find another home. So there you have it. Those are my honest reviews of the Patrick Tar eyeshadow, the Surreal Skin Foundation by Makeup by Mario, and the Vieve Icon Mascara. So let me know in the comments, would you try any of these products? If you have tried the Illuminating Eyeshadows by Patrick Tar, did you experience all this fallout? Do let me know in the comments and let's have a chat. And if you've enjoyed this video, I'd be so grateful if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave me a comment. And this is something I don't mention very often, but I've just watched a video where a content creator talked about the notification bell and its importance. So if you could just bear to set your little notification bell to all, that would really help my channel. Thank you so much in advance for doing that. And if you'd like to hear more from me, I have a newsletter, and the link to subscribe to that is in the description box below, and I'm trying to go weekly with it at the moment. So if you're interested in hearing a little bit more from me on fashion, beauty, lifestyle and other bits and bobs like podcasts and TV programmes and movies and that sort of thing, then do consider subscribing to that as well. And thank you so much for watching. It means the absolute world to me. It really does. And I hope you're all doing really well in these dark evenings in the Northern Hemisphere. And I very much look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye.